The government shutdown reaches an end for now, and there's ground to be made up for producers. And harvest update for you. Some areas seen some surprising yields, and an FFA chapter celebrates 10 years. It's all tonight on NTV's Grow. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. First, we'll start off with the government shutdown. The government is back in business, but this shutdown has had a big effect on agriculture, and now it's time to make up some ground. Normal activity like harvesting continues, but help after a natural disaster was not there. Because of the furloughs, Kansas State University agricultural economist Glenn Tonzer says some ranchers won't get compensated until after the shutdown ends. So now it's time to catch up.
For example, if you're in South Dakota, there's been a huge blizzard that went through and has resulted in loss of lots of cattle. Typically, under normal working procedures, those producers would be eligible for funds from livestock indemnity programs to help offset some of those losses. As of now, during the shutdown, those South Dakota producers cannot apply.
Now that the shutdown is over, producers like the ones in South Dakota can apply for financial help. And it's not only that, the USDA did not have employees at the major auction markets to document the price of calves being sold. That information is usually put on the USDA website and helps producers know when to sell their calves or corn. But without that information, producers aren't very confident. These things will return to normal when the furloughs end, but the data will not be restored.
Right, but some of those things will just go back to normal operating procedure, and some things we'll never fill back in, right? So for example, the USDA AMS employee that was not at the Joplin market, right, for a couple of weeks, I can't undo that, right? So we're gonna have those data gaps, if you like. The longer the shutdown, the longer those gaps, the bigger of a problem that creates. But for the most part, I would anticipate most things to go back to normal operating procedure in ag markets.
Now that the shutdown is over, producers like the ones in South Dakota can apply for financial help. And USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack comments on the livestock disaster and what action they will be taking now that the USDA is back up and running.
Well, we are going to be back in business, and we understand it's a priority for us to focus on folks who are hurting. So we're asking Michael Skews to head out to South Dakota to convey a message that we understand, that we appreciate the devastation that these storms have basically caused in livestock operations, that we would love to be able to provide help and assistance. At this point, all we can do is collect information, make sure that we have accurate information, so when and if the Congress reinstates the livestock disaster assistance programs, makes them retroactive to when they lapsed in 2011, we are in a position to provide help and assistance at some point in the future to allow folks to get through this tough time.
And now that the government is back in business, there is talk of movement when it comes to the Farm Bill. House and Senate negotiators could meet this week or next week to try to work on it. The bill is expected to cut funding for conservation programs, but expand subsidized crop insurance program by $1 billion a year. The first meeting of the House and Senate conferees is a milestone. This normally marks the final round of work on major legislation. Usually, a final version emerges within a few weeks. However, the Farm Bill has been under fire, repeatedly delayed, and is more than a year past due. Recent rains did put the brakes on harvest for some, at least temporarily. Let's take a look at some harvest updates from some areas. Aurora Co-op reports in the Superior area, bean yields are much better than expected. They range from 30 to 60 bushel for dry land, 65 for irrigated. This area includes Nelson, Bostwick, Burr Oak, Mankato, and Lovewell Lake. Corn is also just getting started, but some dry land varies from 60 bushels to 150, depending on when they got rain. There's also a report of 230 bushel dry land corn north of Byron. Bean harvest is about 90% complete, and corn maybe 10. And as you can see, some stalks are laying over in fields. Farmers are picking them up with their combines, slinging the laid-over corn stalks up so that they can get some of that crop out of that field. This is Jeff Nelson farming just north of the station by Axtell. He shared this video. We want to hear from you. How is harvest season going so far? Let us know. Go to our website, nebraska.tv, click on NTV's Grow, and enter your thoughts on our poll question. Also, if you want to expand a little bit more, tell us your story of harvest for the year. Go to Facebook or our Twitter pages and share what's going on in your area. And there's a new opportunity for students who are wanting to study agriculture. A new program offers a 4-year degree for NCTA students. For the first time, there will be a Bachelor of Applied Science degree through a partnership with UNL. So where would we be without Nebraska agriculture? That is a question that's being posed to students, and they're getting some answers by visiting a Nebraska farm. Preschoolers from St. Michael's Preschool enjoyed their time at Ryan Weeks Family Farm Popcorn Field, west of Donovan. Those involved say a visit like this emphasizes how ag education is needed to lessen the disconnect between farmers and consumers. Also addressing the farm to fork disconnect, there's a farm video contest. Nebraska Farm Bureau and Nebraska Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture invite classrooms from across the state to enter a contest. Submit a video answering the question, what would your life be like without Nebraska agriculture? 3 winning classrooms will win a trip to a farm or ranch. They're still picking up the pieces after a blizzard devastated cattle herds. Find out how the recovery is going and how the delay of the farm bill and the government shutdown has had an impact. That's all coming up after the break. Later on, we have your Grow forecast. Stay with us.